Before you watch this episode of our cityCURRENT radio show, I want to personally invite you to join cityCURRENT's e-learning and online personal development platform called GrowthCurrent. I'm Jeremy Park, host of the cityCURRENT radio show and CEO of cityCURRENT. GrowthCurrent is your exclusive ticket to attend virtual events with global thought leaders, national guest speakers, and experts who can help you grow personally and professionally. It gives you access to success secrets, lessons learned, learning modules, and so much more. Subscriptions are only $8 a month, or you can do bulk subscriptions for your team. Being online, you can access this anywhere around the world. So check out growthcurrent.co to learn more, and let's power the good together. That's growthcurrent.co to learn more. And now, on to the show. Welcome to the cityCURRENT radio show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals, organizations making a difference, powering the good, giving back to the Mid-South and our community here. With that, we're going to kick it off with a good friend of ours who has a huge heart for service. They're doing so much to support arts programs as well, but they will make you look good, feel good with the jewelry, the watches, and so much more. But Tiffany Brimhall with Mednikow Jewelers. How are you doing, Tiffany?
Doing great. How are you doing today, Jeremy?
Doing very well. So I have many watches. My wife has watches and jewelry and all sorts of things, all from Mednikow. We love everything you do. And as I mentioned, you and your company are heavily involved in philanthropy as well. But give us a little bit, when you talk about personally just working at Mednikow and kind of the history and the long legacy, give us a little bit of just how you describe Mednikow.
Wow, great question. So we are a fifth generation family jewelry store. So when I think of Memphis, I think Mednikow just kind of go hand in hand there. So they've been since 1891, so a very long time there too. So there's people that I work with that have been in this industry for 30 plus years, 20 plus years. So people that work here are really like family and been here a long time.
Walk us through, because as I mentioned, it's watches, it's rings, obviously, necklaces, even custom knives. So there's a lot of versatility with what's there in the store, but walk us through a little bit of a tease for all the different things that you sell.
Okay, great. So of course, when people think of jewelry, they think of women automatically because we love things that sparkle. It's just genetic for us. So we've got tons of different things for women. You know, we've got anything from white metals to yellow metals. We're wearing tons of yellow gold right now. We've got things for someone's granddaughter on up to a grandmother. So we help a wide range of people. So for as ages and things that are just classic, for things that are like on trend or fashion forward. I think it's kind of where we kind of always had that wonderful niche for that as well. Of course, when they give like timepieces, it seems like when someone comes in to look at engagement rings, the guy will go over and look at the watches immediately. It's like this other gravitational pull for them. So we work with Fremont, we work with our own line of timepieces. You know, that's just a great gift at any time, not just how it's made, but what it represents in time. And then I'm so excited that so many men or gentlemen in Memphis have been wearing more accessories themselves. So we've got like great bracelets. You mentioned knives. You know, we work with William Henry, who works with Damascus seal. They're just like individually like works of art, just beautiful, but they're truly functional. We've got great things for cufflinks. Everybody's excited about football, hopefully. So we've got things that represent different teams. We can do custom things like you mentioned for both men and women. Really, if you can dream it, we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, even on my end, we've got custom cityCURRENT cufflinks. And so you can put your logo, obviously you can do initials. And very reasonably priced. When you look at, to your point, you've got different price points for everyone. You have the stuff that is the classic and that will always be on trend. And then you have the trendier things as well. So you have a nice blend of all the different worlds, which is really nice in terms of variety.
Yeah, so we, I think some of my girlfriends, we're talking about a fun arm party. So, we're layering things, so we've got fun bracelets and all metals, necklaces. We work with Monica Rich. She's got like a really great story. She's an amazing photographer and started doing pieces of jewelry to showcase her photography. So she does lockets and other fun jewelry. So you'll find some things that you might not expect to see in a jewelry store sometimes.
Talk about what story means, because I feel like a big part of jewelry is one, sharing, how you view yourself. And so there's a personal storyline. There's also, to me, one of the things, and you mentioned Vermont, the watch company, Nick and Giles, the founders, big aviators and classic cars and automobiles. And it was really kind of the genesis of losing their father and the two brothers wanting to work together. And it's a great story. And to me, when you wear their watches, which, oh, by the way, people like Jimmy Fallon, Tom Cruise, they're in movies like The Kingsman and Venom. So there's a really neat story associated with the watches. But talk about what story means in the context of jewelry.
I really think that's my favorite part about working in this industry. So if you've got, whether if you have a female, some women are going to be wearing a piece of jewelry that belonged to someone else in their family. I wear a ring set that was my great aunt's. When I look down, I think of her and there's the legacy of her life. And same thing is like, I love it when a gentleman passes down a timepiece to his son. So, that's the most beautiful thing. Is all the things that we work with are gorgeous, well made, but they represent stories and generations and things that we're celebrating. There's been, people that know me know that I'm a crier. So the great thing is sometimes when someone sits down with some jewelry that was maybe their grandmother's or somebody else in their family that they're wanting to kind of change it for themselves, it just shows what that gift was years ago is just as important today. People need to be wearing all their things. Maybe they're at home and you're in your yoga wear, but wear those jewelry, wear that jewelry, wear the things that were your family pieces, because it's just a great way to continue to tell their story in your life in the present.
Carry it forward into obviously what we're dealing with right now with the pandemic, but people are still getting engaged. They are still getting married. They are still having birthdays and celebrations and special moments. And I think jewelry plays such an important gift. Talk about kind of the ability to still enjoy these moments.
Well, I think, jewelry is a very just an emotional thing. It is, from what it represents. So I think I personally have had the opportunity to kind of slow down and evaluate what's important in my life. And, spending that time with family, and just the quality of all of that there too. So it's funny, I've helped other people with lockets, but I bought one myself. I bought one for my aunt who just became a grandmother through all of this as well too. So I think right now when we think about what's important, people are fixing up their houses and looking around there. So the most important things in our lives are not really things or the people, but jewelry kind of ties in celebrating those people and those occasions. So I think, just remembering to celebrate. It doesn't have to be a birthday. It could just be a random Friday of hey, I thought of you. I love you. I got you this, or let me write a letter to go with this as well. So, yeah.
Share some best practices when it comes to picking out a ring. I'm thinking, for a guy who's coming in who wants to surprise, obviously, and get engaged. What are some just kind of diamond ring shopping 101? Give us a couple of tips.
Okay. The first thing is do not go online, because there's really great information on there. There's not some great information as well. I think that's kind of makes it really difficult to kind of weed through what that is. So I think the first thing is maybe it's just some education. Sometimes it's a matter of how much education do you want. I always tell if I'm helping a young man or gentleman at all, just to stay in your heart and not in your head, and just give me 5 minutes so we can kind of go through everything. So I think mainly what it represents, engagement ring is it represents a promise between two people, and kind of get both of their personalities, but the other person's going to be wearing it. So what does that person really want to wear? And trust your own eyes. Here we're a GIA store, so they're the grading standard when it comes to grading diamonds, and then just the quality of what we make. Like I said, we work in all metals. We do white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, combinations. But I think looking together sometimes is really important, kind of finding out what the other person likes, and then we can kind of break it down later about what's the price range we need to stay in and kind of marry those two together, no pun intended. Absolutely.
What are some of the questions you like to ask when you're trying to help someone, either way, either someone shopping for the guy or the woman? What are some of the things that you like to ask to kind of get in the head of the things that they might like and the styles they might like?
Yeah, exactly. That's how we get to the right thing, because, we're in the happy business, And my job, our job is to help that person look really good when you're presenting a gift. So that does come through, like, find out, what does this person like to wear? Do they like white metals, yellow metals? Does she like light layers, or do they like big, bold? Those are the things that if we ask enough questions and ask them with the intent to whatever that person opens up is just going to get that person big hugs and stay there and not need to be exchanged or so forth. But if we don't get it right, it's completely my fault, and we will exchange it and get something else. But I think that is just asking, you're exactly right, just asking questions to get to the right thing.
One of the things that I enjoy, and it's kind of a secret move, if you will, but it's a good strategy, is when you bring your date, spouse, whatever it is with you, like you said, to kind of get to know each other, but let them spend some time with you, then they start to figure out, and you start to figure out what they like. And then you can come back in later and say, hey, Tiffany, like, what were the things that they were gravitating toward? And you're like, oh, this is what she was looking at, and this is what she was looking at. And then you can really customize and help strategically guide the decision-making.
Exactly. So right now, I think, especially when we're using so much lotion and like the hand sanitizer. So I've been telling all my friends, please tell people to come in, let's clean their jewelry. And I can get some hints for somebody, whether they're in together, we can make a wish list and keep notes, because I know if anybody gives a gift, they want it to be the right thing and like high five, big hugs. So we're kind of here for that. But I love it when people come in also to clean jewelry, because we can also get some hints, because, the holidays will be here before you know it. Birthdays and anniversaries are kind of rolling around. And that way the person can still choose something, but they won't get it wrong.
Carry that forward on the cleaning and the service, because I know watches need to be serviced. And there's obviously kind of guidelines on that to make sure that they're always running and functioning properly. But talk about some kind of best care secrets when it comes to jewelry.
Thank you. Great thing to mention. Especially for our bracelets and rings get the most wear because we're moving our hands or hitting things. So everybody should get their prongs on anything checked every 6 months. And when we offer to clean something, of course, like, it's going to help those diamonds or those semi-precious, precious stones sparkle more, but it's also going to get their dirt, which can act as like an adjutant and help wiggle things loose. So we want to check prongs, make sure everything's tight and secure. If you do have something that's loose, you want to pop in and let us tighten that up, because if something's loose, it'll eventually wiggle out and you might lose something. That's really important. If someone wears pearls, you need to get those restrung, 1 to 2 years, depends on how often you wear those. You mentioned watch servicing, depends on the type of the timepiece. If you've got an automatic watch, typically it's 3 to 7. There's some models that you do every 10 years, so that kind of varies. But really just getting everything inspected and cleaned. And if we find anything while you're here, we'll advise you on what you need to do to take care of that for the lifetime that you have that piece.
What are some of the hot selling items right now? You could talk about brands or just in general, but what are some of the hot sellers right now?
Really, just some great basics, actually, but right now we're all wearing masks when we are in a safe and closed room on Zoom right now. So stud earrings are really big, if you're out and about, so they aren't getting caught up in your mask. So stud earrings, whether they're diamond studs, pearl studs, or fun gemstones, that's something that I'm seeing a lot of. And then bracelets, layering necklaces, just some of those great classic basics. And then we're seeing a lot of the younger ladies adding to their yellow gold there too. And for you guys, I think you just love watches in general. So timepieces are always good there too.
Well, and guys, I mean, especially, and you and I know each other very well when it comes to watches, and I'm a massive watch, lover and fan. But I will say though that, when it comes down to it, having someone who knows the business very well, you can make very wise investment decisions with your jewelry. And I think watches, especially, you buy a car, it depreciates. You lose money on those outside of a few exceptions. Watches, if you're smart about the investment you make, you get to wear them, pass them down generationally, but they can make money. And I think that's something that when you go and you look at this as a jewelry, it becomes, yes, a legacy piece for your family and a story, but you also can do it very strategically as an investment decision when you know someone who can guide you in the right direction. And I think that's another big advantage of just having a professional that you can turn to that says, hey, I want this for investment purposes. Which ones of these are going to gain in value? And you can help guide those decisions. And that's important.
I agree. That's one of my favorite things. So what we've seen, gold is an all-time high now, but we've seen what's happened with sapphires or certain timepieces. We also work with Mikimoto. Mikimoto uses top 3 to 5% of all pearls that are harvested. So that's another great thing to invest in for yourself and your family. And there's things that we can do, like if we have one necklace with them, and let's say that you have two girls that's going to be passed on, we can break that apart, send it to Mikimoto, and they can match that. So somebody still got part of mom's pearls or grandma's pearls. So that falls under that as well too. So there's a lot of things that we can help advise on.
Wrap up and talk about the philanthropic and the heart. As I mentioned, very well known for supporting the arts. Jay is a heavy, connoisseur involved in music and using his voice a cappella. You have come out and served with Samaritan's Feet, where he washed kids' feet, giving them new socks and shoes. Talk about just being a part of the fabric of the community and giving back.
A few things. So there's things that I've seen that, Bob and Jay have done. We like to support anybody who's in the line of service, firemen, police, anybody that's served in our military. So we do special things for them. And they've always been kind of just always said thank you, kind of quiet about it. There's been some other things that I've seen Jay do that has made me cry on things that he's done to help people personally. They also have allowed me over the years time to go out and volunteer at different organizations, to leave early, go serve a meal. So I think that the things I've seen here, there's big things they do helping cityCURRENT, but then it's just the way that they do live their lives with things maybe they don't talk about that they're doing. But yeah, I love the fact that I've gone to different events and I'll see, Jay's name and with Elizabeth, supporting things in the arts. And that is so important all the time. But I think we're realizing even more right now how much our community needs that, because it just helps make sense of everything.
Well, wrap up and talk about just website, obviously store location. Where do we go to enjoy your expertise and take advantage of all that Mednikow offers?
Well, we are open 10 to 5, Monday through Saturday, at 474 Perkins Extended, really close to a wonderful coffee shop. And if someone doesn't feel comfortable coming in, when you are coming in, we are wearing masks. We are cleaning. We're asking everyone in the community to wear masks. When the moment that we opened, we've been asking everyone to do that. I think that just shows how much, Bob and Jay and Mednikow loves Memphis, that we've been masking from the very start. There's that. But if someone doesn't feel comfortable, they can call us. We can FaceTime. We can Zoom. I can do education that way. And our phone number is 901-767-2100.
Well, Tiffany, greatly appreciate all you do. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for cityCURRENT.